Does anybody remember an old PC game from the early 1990s called Mr. Mix? It was mainly a typing game, similar to Mario Teaches Typing, where you have to type words into a box to make a chef, Mr. Mix, put ingredients into a bowl. Unlike most typing games, though, this game was notorious for having an insane difficulty curve. The game has a word per minute requirement for each level, being as low as 10 on level 1, and as high as 85 on the third. By level 5, the requirements reached over 500 words per minute, effectively making it impossible to proceed any further. One of the main things that people noticed about this game immediately was the background music. The music on the first level was an unsettling pattern of growls that got progressively louder as the level went on, often causing damage to early computer speakers that weren't designed to handle extremely loud high volumes of sound. The second level, however, had no music at all, just dead silence. And the third level had what sounded to be an extremely low quality recording of a hairdryer playing in the background. The remaining two levels had an extremely loud high-pitched ringing, which caused severe eardrum damage in anyone who managed to get to that level. Another rather disturbing aspect of the game was the design of the chef, Mr. Mix himself. He was a large, round-faced man with large beady eyes and red spots on his cheeks, and his body was the shape of a circle. Most children who played the game reported having vivid nightmares of Mr. Mix speaking to them in a quiet, raspy voice, threatening them to keep quiet about something. However, none could remember what exactly it was. One psychologist who saw many of these children reported being disturbed by the sheer amount of terror on the faces of the children as they recounted the details of the nightmares. One child was even asked to draw what Mr. Mix looked like in their nightmares. It was a terrifying sight. Many of the children broke down into tears in the process, begging for their parents to save them. However, no direct correlation to the game itself could be determined by these few cases, as not all the children suffered the same adverse effects. For obvious reasons, the game didn't sell very well. It remained in relative obscurity until a few years ago, when PC hackers got a hold of a ROM of the game and started digging through it. Using memory hacking software, they managed to crack the game's code and bypass the impossible 5th level. What they found, however, was extremely disturbing, and caused many of them to quit the expedition altogether. According to the reports left behind from the hackers, the game behaves very strangely if the 5th level is bypassed. If it's attempted to be beaten by normal means, the game crashes and writes a bunch of files to the user's System32 directory, to the point that the RAM was almost completely filled. These files are reportedly pictures of people with horribly deformed faces, appearing to scream in pain and agony, with their eyes appearing to be bleeding from their tear ducts, and the outer layer of skin torn clean off in multiple places. If the user attempted to delete these files, the computer would crash and blue screen, causing permanent, irreparable damage to the user's hard drive. However, the hackers found that this was caused by a lone byte in the game's ROM that triggered when the 5th level was completed. By removing this byte, the damage was bypassed, and they were able to pass on to the 6th and final level. Unfortunately, all of the original hackers for the longest time declined to discuss what they found in the level, all of them being extremely paranoid and reclusive, refusing to talk about anything related to the game, and showing astonishingly extreme symptoms similar to post-traumatic stress disorder. Most of them ceased to be able to form coherent sentences within a week, and within a month, all of them went missing. All the remaining copies of the game were destroyed, though it's preserved online through the archives. To this day, no one knows what was in that game that caused them so much psychological damage. Maybe it's better that way. 2 years after this incident, a man was arrested after trying to kidnap an 8-year-old girl from a grocery store. Through DNA and fingerprint analysis, the man was identified as one of the original hackers who viewed the final level of the game. He was wearing a white chef's hat and had a look of unspeakable malice and insanity on his face. When interrogated, the man would only say one thing.
I'm Mr. Mix.
In October of 2016, one of the original hackers finally started speaking again. He still refused to share whatever he saw, but he provided a flash drive and told us one sentence.
Look for yourself if you want to lose all of your innocence.
What was contained on this flash drive was 2 versions of the original game. The original unedited version, and the hacked version with the corrupting byte removed. I'm not sure if it was due to morbid curiosity or just a plain sense of stupidity. But as an archivist at heart, I had to know what was in the game. So I started it up.
Oh, there. Time to cook food.
unhacked version was pretty much what I expected. Just a difficult typing game. I wish I'd never opened the hacked version.